Hi there, Loy Machedo speaking to you from loymachedo.com. And who's Loy Machedo? Today the date is 29th of May 2016. Time right now is 12. Exactly, sharp 12. Now let me drink one second. Nice. Nothing like amazing tea. Okay. I just had a conversation with she was my first girlfriend. First girlfriend that was 25 years ago. Okay, she was my first girlfriend, those days I was a dick, an absolute dick. I didn't know what was love. I was a long haired, had a V shape, was a big bodybuilder, very attractive guy. However, I didn't have brains. I didn't have empathy. I didn't have the ability to understand women. I was just going around telling everyone I knew, I love you and I want to be with you. And this poor little girl, she fell in love with me. Okay? And it was sincere. It was really, truly sincere. However, being immature that I was, I broke her heart, and it was pretty bad. Very, very bad. And I just moved on. I didn't give a damn. Okay? She went into a depression for quite a long time. I think for 11 years, she just didn't want to have a relationship, 11 or 12 years. And at that time, the guy, wait, let me just sort this out. There was this guy who chased her for 12 years. I'm not joking. For 12 years, he obsessively, with complete heart dedication, he persuaded her. He went behind her. He would even fall at her feet, literally fall at her feet and tell her that he loves her. He kept asking for her hand in marriage. He approached the family. He did whatever he could. He asked his friends for 12 years. 12 years. Can you imagine that? He just went behind her, begging her, pleading her, please marry me. Okay? And that was crazy. That was unbelievable. Okay? Finally, after 12 years, she caved in. She was like, this guy loves me so much. He's begging, persuading, wanting to marry me. Why don't I marry him? There's no other guy anyway chasing me. So now this is one example. Okay? Another example is, there was this girl who I made friends with, and she fell in love with this guy who, I'll tell you, it's not even funny. Okay, seriously, I'm just laughing because it is funny, because it's crazy. Okay, this girl, this guy would send her. I'm not in joking. He would give her 50 missed calls per day. 50. That is like, the phone is ringing, and it goes on. Then the next call, ringing, literally for 3 hours. And he would send messages, like if you just look at the phone, ting, then ting, then ting, keep going on. It would never stop. And the message, I love you, can't live without you, can't breathe without you, you're my everything, you're my this, you're my that, my baby. And then you would you would even send photographs of him. I'm crying, look at my tears. You would have all this, well, at the, which is stupid, but at the background there are some girls' clothes, some other girls. They're kind of silly, okay? But he would tell her, I love you, like crazy. And then messages on Facebook, voice messages, begging, pleading is an understatement. I mean, the guy was like crazily mad about it. He would come and stand below her house at 5:30 in the morning. At 5:30 in the morning, imagine. Wait for her until she would go to work, and then come back at 9 o'clock in the night and be there all the way till you would drop her home. He would do this every day. He would write messages on tissue papers, on teacups, on flyers. He persuaded her like no one else's business. He did this for months and months and months. And finally, she thought to herself, if he loves me so much, why don't I give him my heart? And she finally said yes. However, with both these cases, now it's a different story. Okay, now with my ex-girl, who I told you about, this guy is now married, I think, 3 times more. Okay, he's married 3 times more with 3 other different women. He has children with all these women, and he's abusive, he's alcoholic, he's a smoker, he beats her up, he shouts at her, he doesn't want her to grow. He is a control freak. He has to check her passwords, he has to check her Facebook, he has to check her Instagram, he has to check everything, her phone, WhatsApp, everything. It's madness. While on the other side, this other, he's also, like I told you, womanizer. And this other example also, she's also having the same thing. Okay? However, the thing that shocks me, absolutely shocks me, that absolutely baffles me is both these women, they are sticking to the same guy. Seriously, I'm not even joking. That my first ex-girl, she has stuck with this guy for, I think, 10 years, 11 years or whatever. This other girl, she has stuck with him for ages. And they fight, they break up, and then he does the same drama all over again. She goes back to him. And imagine, she catches him red-handed sleeping with other guys. Girls, okay? So now the real question is, why is it that women stay with controlling men? Why? What is the scientific reason? What exactly it is? For me, it was a mystery. I mean, especially with the second girl, I gave her all the love, all the attention, everything. I made her feel special. Everything. I went beyond the call of duty. And she still goes back to it. I was like, man, what is this? So I had to do research. And this is through Psychology 101. It is not through my pocket. These are actual facts, okay? Why is it that women stay with controlling men? So here goes. The first one, what you need to understand, the reason why women stay with controlling men is because when these guys, these predators, as I call them, they are predators. Let me drink tea, Patsy. Okay. These guys are predators. What they do is they have an amazing game that they play. It is like a strategy. It's like a game. They play this game so very well, making you feel so amazingly special. They are masters at this game. It's like mind manipulators, playboys. They will play this game so amazingly well. And they'll give romantic dialogues. Like, for example, visually, they'll dress up well. They'll give you gifts like teddy bears, toys, write all these messages. I love you. You're my everything. You're my life. And they play this game visually, okay? Then kinesthetic, auditory, that is the voice. They'll make the voice in such a way, love you, I can't live without you, you're my everything. And they even put music and they give all these romantic songs. And kinesthetic, they make you feel special. They really go out of the way to give you that heart, that feeling. And you feel amazing, you really feel amazing. Imagine if a girl sent me like 50 messages a day, 50 emails, millions of calls, and kept following me, being, begging, pleading, and asking for my love. Obviously, I would give in at some point. But listen, please don't do that, because I get bloody irritated. I get so many girls coming. I don't like it. So please don't try it, okay? I'm not trying to give you messages here. Okay. So the girl feels special. Obviously, the girl feels special because, come on, nobody else is doing it. Here's one guy who is doing it. And those memories remain. They stay very strong, they remain very fresh, and it feels amazing, it feels so addictive. You can't get out of it, you have to live it. It's so, wow, it brings those pleasurable moments. However, what happened is, once they get you into their life and it's over, it's done, and then they become bad. It's like, if you run barefoot and say a glass piece enters your leg, many glass pieces, you can remove the major big chunks, but then there are these small bits which are still there, the small tiny bits, and those are like those memory trigger points. So what happens is, when they know they're going to lose you, or when they know that, she's going away from me, they trigger those memories by, again, being nice, being sweet, being loving. They play this game all over again, and those pieces of glass that are still there in the flesh, they trigger those memories once again. It's a flood of memories, tsunami of good feelings. And when you have this, it becomes very intoxicating. It becomes very addictive. And you're like, I'm not going to get this ever again. I want this love so badly. And they play their cards very well. and finish. The girl is still stuck in the same old shit. So that's point number one. It's the intoxication, it's the addiction, it's the feeling, it's like those memory trigger points that keep coming back. That is exactly the same thing that people have with alcohol. That's the same problem people have with drugs, with being a womanizer. Okay, so these the guy wants attention. The guy wants he wants to control. He has to be the alpha male. So he'll do whatever it takes to make sure the woman stays with him. That's it. This is his baby. This is his property. This is his guinea pig where he can experiment and take advantage and be evil. Ha ha. So he'll do whatever he can. He'll play the emotional card. He'll play the evil card. He'll play the alpha male card. But he'll do everything to make sure you are his. And the girl enjoys this. The girl really wants this. The girl really wants someone to control her, someone to want her, someone to desire her. And that's why. That's point number one. Okay. Point number two. You need to understand that these guys, I'll tell you, they are masters at mind manipulation techniques. They are really bloody masters. They are amazing actors. They can be incredibly romantic, very sexually passionate, and because of the fact they drink alcohol and they have a very high pleasure threshold, they can really, really go out of the way to make you feel amazing. In fact, they play these games like they bring flowers, they bring these toys, they bring these cute little memories. They take you for dinners, they give you romantic dialogues, and they are very good in bed. Trust me, they have a very high sexual libido. So what happens is they use all these tricks of the trade to make sure that the girl is addicted to them. The girl, her senses are bombarded with so much of pleasure. It's like having an ice cream, sugar. It gives you such a high. It gives you such a dopamine rush. The release of oxytocin, the release of serotonin, the release of endomorphins. Endomorphins, all of this, it's just released at such a rapid pace and such amounts that you're like, the brain is bombarded with so much pleasure that you're like, I want him, I can't leave him, please do it to me. It's like that, okay? And because they know how to play these cards so very well in the sequence, they study you. And trust me when I say this, they are so super intelligent. They study their victims in and out so well. They know what buttons to press and how to get the female. Okay, so the second one is because they are amazing genius mind manipulators. Okay, point number three. What happens here is, this is the victim's upbringing. So if you're brought up in a family that they said, you're no use, you are always, you'll never have anyone good, you're ugly, you're bad. So the girl or the guy, the girl, especially the girl who's in the bad relationship, does not feel that they deserve anything better. They don't feel that they will ever get a better guy. They don't feel that there is someone out there who's better than this guy. And especially, you need to understand the fear that I'll never get anyone else who will love me. I will never get anyone else who will replace, this person. And especially when you become older, as you become older, the girl is no longer young. So she's like, shish, now my boobs are sagging, my stomach is hanging, my ass has become so big, my skin is sagging. I don't look as beautiful as I used to. Who will love me? Who will love me? This is the only guy who will love me. So they just feel, okay, fine. It's better I suffer in this relationship than I experience loneliness. So they actually prefer to suffer and live in that shit because they have a fear of the unknown. They fear that there will be nobody else on the planet who will give them love. So because they feel they don't deserve anything better, because of low self-esteem, because of low respect, bad sense of self-respect, they stick on with this guy. That's because remember this, when I asked the other girl, whom I told you the second example, I told her that, why don't you leave this guy? She just was afraid of losing love. She was sincerely afraid of losing love. She didn't feel she deserved anything better. And when I did give her the example and I said, okay, imagine this girl. There was a common friend of ours who is a model. She is very successful, powerful businesswoman. I said, do you think this girl will go for this guy? She says, no way. She'll never go for this guy. Her self-respect is so high. And I asked her, then do you think she will accept the guy if he two-timed her? She'll never. She respects her so much more. Then I bought her and I said, then what about you? Why you're sticking? And then she was quiet. So Number three is they don't feel they deserve any better. Number four is because they don't know anything better. If you actually look at these women, one is they have a recurring pattern. They always, you'll always notice this, these so-called good girls, they'll always take the bad boys. They'll take guys who are troublemakers, they'll take guys who are evil, they'll take guys who are full of problems. They have this recurring pattern, and they have to follow this pattern. They'll always make bad decisions. It's just somehow in their DNA. And another thing is, because they are so addicted to this pattern, they'll always go for a guy who's abusive. They'll always go for a guy who's broken. They'll always go for a guy who has issues, because they just follow the pattern blindly. And the part B of this is because they don't know anything better. They don't know that they can break this pattern. They don't know that there is a better person. They're just trying to be ignorant about it. And that is such a mess up. Serious. It is a terrible, terrible mess up. They just don't know anything better. They live in this small little world where only he is everything. So, but if they were to go out, travel to another country, travel to another world, even though it would change their perspective. However, again, because of this recurring pattern, even if they go to a new country, new person away from this guy, they'll still unconsciously search for who is a problem guy. And these predators, they can identify you, and they'll again go back to the same cycle. Okay. Point number 5 is fear. Okay. The thing is, these girls operate with a sense of fear of loss, a fear of losing him, a fear of something or another. And because of this fear, they are paralyzed to try anything new. It's like, for example, they fear loneliness. They fear not experiencing love. In fact, they even fear that I'll lose this guy to this other female. So that fear, that loss which is there, it just paralyzes them, and they don't want to move ahead. Then this one is a very important point number 6. Okay, it's a very powerful one. You see this girl, the second girl who was with the first one was a teacher. Is a teacher. The second one is a nurse. They are in a profession where they want to change people's lives. They change people's lives. Like this first one, she is more like she grooms children, and she imbibes in them values. So if they are naughty, she always corrects them, wants them to be better. The second girl who I was talking to you about, she's a nurse, where people have like this, they are old, their arm is going to be amputated or their leg is so she gives them lots of love and care. Even though these patients sometimes, these old guys, they try to touch the girl and try to feel their body and all. They know that they are, dirty old men. But even though she keeps this aside, she gives them so much love and very genuine. One of my other ex-girls, which I'm talking about, she is such an amazing girl in terms of being a friend. Like, she has lots of pets. And when these pets of hers get pregnant and then she doesn't sleep the whole night, she'll actually remove, she'll become the doctor who removes the baby from the bed and, cleans the baby. She is so giving. However, when she likes to make that, but when she chooses relationships, she always takes this psycho, mad, woman beater kind of, because what they believe is, if I could change these people, if I could change these students or change these patients' lives and transform them, they want the sense of achievement to feel in relationships. Oh, if I can change these people's lives who don't matter so much to me, how much more can I change this person's life? And how would I feel if I could transform the one person that I truly love? So they want to make a difference. They want to change. And they end up going for psychotic people whom they can never change. Seriously, never. You cannot change anyone. You can never change anyone, especially their core character. Point number 7 is they are always afraid of being alone. Seriously, they just cannot be alone. They have to be in a relationship. Either they need someone to cuddle with, or they need someone to love them, or they need a baby, or they need a teddy bear. They can't be alone. They always have to be with someone. That's why they're always seeking. They are never alone. They're always with someone. They have to be with someone. So the fear of being alone is terrible. And last if not the least is the absolutely irrational, stupid, bogus nonsense, which is because I love him. I spoke to this girl who I told you about, my first one. And when I asked her, why are you in this relationship when the guy is abusing you, beating you, hitting you, two-timing you? I asked the same question to this nurse girl who I said she actually caught him red-handed. She caught him red-handed with the prostitute. She caught him red-handed, being with this other girl. She caught him so many times. And then she says, the reason I'm in it is because I love him. What? Are you stupid? It's like this. Think I'm clapping. It's two hands to clap, okay? This is the girl, this is the guy. So it's love. However, what this guy does is he just holds himself back. He's not bothered. And she's still trying to clap. And she thinks this, because there is a noise coming, it's clap. Although if it is just one-sided. This is what is happening. It is just one-sided affair. And they cherry pick. It's called cherry picking. They cherry pick those bits of, an example that suits what they want to believe. For example, if you meet anyone who's religious, they'll say, my religion is true. Why is my religion true? Yeah, because there was a flower growing on a rock, which is an impossible. It's a miracle. So you see, my God is true. Near his temple, on that rock, there was a flower. Show me any other religion that can show a flower growing on a rock. Even though it's irrational, well, people will pick that example. Another example is, for example, you speak to any guy of any religion, he says, I prayed to my God and he had cancer, he got healed. But then if you say, these other guys, they spoke to their God, they prayed to their God and they got healed. Let's say, no, this is rubbish. That is not true. That is placebo. So they'll see some number or some sign on an animal and say, this is God, our religion. They look at the sky, they'll see something that looks like, that kind of matches an image of their God, and see, a God showed a signal in the sky. However, if you turn the argument on its head and say, see, this image looks like this other God, they'll say, no, that's rubbish. So people cherry pick whatever they want to believe to support their argument. That's why they'll always tell you, I did this because. So they cherry pick. And the problem is, love is an irrational emotion. You can't measure it, you can't weigh it, you can't compare it. And the fact that it is just one-sided, and the fact that they don't love themselves. If you don't love yourself, how can you love someone else? It's like, I don't know karate, but I'm going to teach him karate. How can you do that? So if you don't love yourself, you don't value yourself, you don't respect yourself, how can you do the same and understand whether you're being respected, you're being loved? So when you treat yourself like shit, anyone who treats you like shit, you'll feel, oh, wow, that's nice. So they don't know what is love, and they use this irrational argument to justify what they do. So, end of the day, remember this, manipulation, controlling, checking people's emails, checking people where they went, what they did, being manipulative, this is not love. This is seriously not love. If you truly love and respect yourself, first, it starts with love and respect for yourself. If you have that, then change takes place. Okay? Because when you love yourself, it's healthy. You will choose what is best for you. And then you would know what is love. So if you don't respect yourself, you don't love yourself, you don't have a high self-esteem, ego, you don't value yourself, how can you expect to choose someone who will value you? And that is why, even though this other girl who I told you about, who was a nurse, even though I gave her so much of love, affection, so much, she still went for that guy who was an abuser, who was a liar, who was a smoker, a drinker, who was everything that was bad. And she keeps saying, but I love him because, for all these reasons, he played his cards really well. So I don't mind. Anyway, that is what it is. However, I'll tell you this very simple thing. If you ask them, all these victims, if you ask them, so would you wish for your child, your daughter, to fall in love with this man? Would you want your son to be exactly like this man? Trust me, they'll always say, no, never. I'd not want my son to be a smoker, drinker, drug addict, abuser of women, never. And they'd always say, I don't want my daughter to be abused by a man, to be, ill-treated by a man, never. So that clearly shows you that they are victims. And for such women, I strongly recommend you need to meet a psychologist, you need to meet a psychiatrist, just like you have Alcoholics Anonymous who go to these places. They need a support a community where they support them, where they guide them, and a doctor to really help them, because it's a mental sickness. You cannot succeed. You'll go back in the same destructive recurring pattern, and it'll eventually destroy your life. So Loy from LoyMachedo.com, and it was Loy Machedo sharing with you the examples, the reasons why women stay with abusive, controlling men. And for me, because I really took a lot of passion and interest to understand the psychology behind this, I was able to share it with you. So if you know anyone who is in an abusive relationship and who needs to watch this video, please share it with them. I just hope to make a difference in someone's life, and I hope that they find true happiness. So Loy from LoyMachedo.com, and it was Loy Machedo saying goodbye for now. Any questions, let me know. Love to hear from you.